Turkey's president is denied an official reception at the White House as relations between Washington and Ankara take another plunge over policy differences. Also this hour,
it's quite incredible to be standing here in the pearl of the desert, the ancient city of Palmyra, that for months people around the world feared would be reduced to dust by ISIS.
RT gets exclusive access to the newly liberated Syrian city of Palmyra that's been under Islamic State rule for the last 10 months. And the ex-chief of the CIA warns the UK against leaving the EU, citing security threats, including President Putin turning Europe into his own, quote, dominion. We hear both sides of the Brexit debate.
The idea that it's better for everyone to retreat behind their borders and do it that way than to do it in the system that we've built up over 40 years.
No one is saying that.
But you are, and you're talking about, and all you're using is you're setting up
18 countries.
No, you're setting up armed sallies about political union which don't exist.
Complete rubbish.
Hello there, it's just turned 5 p.m. here in the Russian capital. I'm Nikki Aaron and you're watching RT International. The White House has denied claims that President Obama has snubbed his Turkish counterpart by refusing to host a formal reception for Tayyip Erdogan. US officials say Obama will instead hold an informal meeting with Erdogan, who's in Washington to attend a nuclear security summit. This comes as relations between the NATO allies have sunk to new lows, as RT's Guyana Chichikan explains.
It appears that the Obama administration decided at the last minute not to completely snub Erdogan, but this whole confusion over their meeting is quite telling of the relationship. Last time the Turkish president visited Washington 3 years ago, President Obama embraced him as a friend and partner. And now Erdogan is among leaders who, quote, frustrate him immensely. This is based on The Atlantic magazine's Candid Legacy interview with President Obama. Here's what it also says about the evolution of the Obama-Erdogan relationship. Early on, Obama saw Recep Tayyip Erdogan as the sort of moderate Muslim leader who would bridge the divide between East and West. But Obama now considers him a failure and an authoritarian. When Turkey went after Kurdish fighters in Syria, whom the U.S. considers an ally in the fight against Daesh, it became quite obvious that the two countries have different foreign policy objectives. Erdogan also went after journalists critical of his government. The U.S. State Department could hardly withhold criticism, even though its task over the years has been to respond to all Turkey-related questions with the mantra, Turkey is our great partner and NATO ally.
The United States finds it unacceptable.
We disagree on the YPG.
We urge the Turkish authorities to ensure their actions uphold universal democratic values.
We've also urged Turkey to cease its artillery fire across the border.
We join those Turkish people who are condemning the use of violence directed against specific political parties, ethnic groups, and media outlets.
We have urged Turkey to stop its shelling over the border.
While publicly U.S. officials say their relationship with Turkey is as strong as ever, their conversations behind the scenes may be quite different. In Washington, I'm Ganesh Chekyan, RT.
Turkey's former ambassador to the US told RT that a face-to-face meeting between Obama and Erdogan won't be enough to bridge their policy differences.
A lot of issues are now a source of, shall we say, tension. I think the fact that there is going to be a meeting will probably be marketed as a meeting by President Erdogan to the Turkish public. I'm not concerned too much with the appearances. I'm more focused on the substance. I'm afraid, though, even if there is a meeting, and there is going to be one, that this is not going to resolve all the existing differences between Turkey and the U.S. They have to talk to each other more at different levels.
Ahead of President Erdogan's visit to Washington, the US ordered the evacuation of hundreds of Americans from Turkey, citing security concerns in the region. The decision affects the families of US diplomats and military staff. The main site they're leaving is the Incirlik air base, from where American jets have been taking off to bomb Islamic State targets across the border in Syria and Iraq. The timing of the evacuation raised questions at the latest US State Department briefing.
If this could have just as easily been done last week or next week, it certainly appears like this was timed to cause maximum embarrassment to senior leaders of your NATO ally, Turkey, who happened to be coming to town. I mean, you chose to do this smack dab in the middle of the foreign minister being here and the president arriving. Why? Why didn't you do it? Why was this chosen?
The decision to do this, the timing of it, was completely considered independently of the nuclear security summit and the visit here to Washington by Turkish officials.
While the US military has been open about how many Americans and even their pets it's pulling out of Turkey, the same can't be said for the State Department.
It is a small number of family members. I do not have an exact figure, but having worked in both institutions, I recognize that the State Department has a different threshold for security concerns about dependents and family members.
Why the Pentagon is so, willing to talk about this down to, cats and dogs and little bunny rabbits.
But we aren't going to release an exact number, and I don't know that the Pentagon actually said how many bunnies they have.
They said something like 278 pets.
Okay.
Okay. Now I don't know if they broke that down into goldfish.
Well,
or,
your question alluded
squirrel.
to hamsters and bunnies, and I just want to make sure that we're clear on that.
Just
Just bunnies. Okay. All right.
To Syria.